Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of From the Luthier's Workbench. Today I'm going to be covering part 11 of my oak laminated kitchen tabletop guitar build. And in the last episode I installed the bridge. And what I need to do today is drill the string through holes for this bridge through the body of the guitar. Now the first thing I've got to do is drill my string through holes most of the way through the guitar body. And I'm going to be using an 1/8 inch brad point drill bit to do this. And then I'll be using the holes in the base plate as my guide. As you can see, I've removed the saddles, screws and springs, and that gives me clear access to these holes so that I can drill them. And in truth, the 1/8 inch bit that I'm going to use is slightly larger than the holes in this base plate, but that's okay. I can just enlarge them ever so slightly. If I were to try to go the next size down, which is a 7/64 of an inch drill bit, I don't have that version as a brad point bit, and it needs to be a brad point bit because it's not enough to use a drill press to keep the holes straight. You need to have a brad point bit because when you drill through wood with a brad point bit, the tip prevents the bit from wandering as it drills through the wood grain. And you know, even though that I'm using a drill press and that will keep the holes relatively straight through, it's just a good idea to use a brad point bit when drilling wood to keep that bit from wandering a little bit as it passes through the wood. Before I drill, since I've already applied the finish to the body, I want to protect it. So I'm going to lay down this soft dollar store microfiber fur towel to protect the finish. I'm only going to drill about 3/4 of the way through the body because the holes that I will drill in the back for the ferrules will complete the full length of the hole that passes through. So and I've set my depth stop so that it will stop short of passing all the way through. Now I can remove the base plate and prepare for the next operation, which will be to drill the holes for the ferrules. Since I didn't drill those string through holes all the way through the body, you're probably wondering, how am I going to know where to drill the holes for the ferrules? Well, to do that, I'm going to use a simple pin alignment jig for my drill press that I came up with. The way this pin alignment system works is pretty simple. I have a 1/2 inch thick piece of plywood, and in the very center I drilled a hole 1/8 of an inch in diameter. Then I took an 1/8 inch diameter bit, an old one, and I cut off part of the shaft, sharpened it to a point, and glued it down into that center hole. Then I drilled a couple of holes at the outer edges and mounted, these are epoxied into place. I think these are 10x32 machine screws with wing nuts and washers. Then on the table of my drill press, I drilled 2 corresponding holes for those screws to fit in, and they'll just simply sit in here. And there's enough room to kind of move it around so that I can align the very point of this pin to the point on the bit that I'll be using. And now you're probably wondering about this table. Obviously this isn't the table that originally was equipped with this drill press. That table broke years and years ago. But I like this drill press so much, I didn't want to replace it just because the table had broken. And as it turned out, when I searched for a replacement table, the part alone was as expensive as the whole drill press was. So I just fabricated this simple table, and it's held on with a U-bolt and a couple of tightening knobs in the back here, and I can raise and lower it. I just can't tilt it at an angle, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove these wing nuts, and then I'll set the pin alignment on here. And what I can do is bring the drill bit down. As you can see, hopefully it's not aligned. So I'm going to loosen the table and then move it until I get it lined up perfectly. And then I'll tighten it. And that's going to pull it a little bit out of alignment as I tighten these at the back. But then I can just ever so slightly move until I get that lined up. Then I will attach the washers and the wing nuts. Once I have the pin lined up perfectly with the point on my brad point drill bit, I placed a paper towel over the top of the pin platform, and that's just to protect the finish as I drill these holes. I've also placed a light down here at a low angle looking up so that I can get down low and watch as I position the body over that pin, because these two points represent the potential for really damaging the body if I'm not careful. So I have to be really aware of what I'm doing here with regard to the space. I don't want to run into either one of those. And then I just place the pin right over the hole. Now, this first hole that I'm going to drill with this bit, this is a 5/16 inch bit, and that's going to drill just a very shallow hole into the body, and that's where the lip of the ferrule will recess down into it. Now I'm just eyeballing it as far as the depth is concerned, but I know that the next hole is going to be right next to this one here. It'll be right about here. So all I have to do is lift the body up and then slide it over until that pin drops right into that hole, just like that. And I'll do the next one. There, 6 perfectly lined up holes. Now what I have to do is swap out this bit for a 1/4 inch bit, which will be for the main body of the ferrule as it's pressed into the body of the guitar. Well, as you can see, I have perfectly straight string through holes for the ferrules, and these also have a slightly larger recess to accommodate that lip. So let's install some string ferrules. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some thin CA glue, and I'm just going to put some of that in there. That'll soak into the wood. Then I'll take the ferrule and I'll set it in there. And then I use, this is just a homemade ferrule setting tool. It's I think this was a 5/16 inch drill bit shaft. I chucked it into my drill press and spun it at high speed and ran a file against it to grind down just that end there. And that fits into the ferrule like so. And then I will tap it with a hammer until I have it nice and flush with the surface. And that's how I drill perfectly straight string through ferrule holes with a recess. And there you have it. Another super secret luthier technique has been revealed. Well, actually, I've revealed that before, but you know. Anyway, I hope you found this video to be useful. And next time you want to drill some holes for string through ferrules, that's a technique you can use. And until the next episode, as always, you know, if you don't subscribe to this channel but like these type of videos on building guitars, click that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. That's always helps. Head over to eguitarplans.com, purchase a plan, show me some support, and get something in return. And until the next episode, take care, stay safe, and I will see you soon.